Have you ever wondered how divine communication can manifest in your life? For many, this interaction seems to arise from the outside as something distant. However, one of the most significant ways the divine expresses itself is through your own mind. Welcome to Unconscious Journey. Together, we will explore the depths of the psyche, the collective unconscious, and the teachings of Carl Jung. Prepare to uncover new dimensions of yourself and the universe around us. The mind is not merely a tool for reflection or problem solving. It is also a channel through which intuitions, messages, and spiritual guidance are received. Consider for a moment that everything passing through your mind, your thoughts, emotions, and perceptions, is not disconnected from a higher energy. It's common to believe that the mind operates solely as a mechanism for processing data. But if you view each idea as having a transcendental connection, if you see your intuitions as a means of divine communication, your perception changes entirely. This is not about waiting for visible signs or an audible voice from outside. It is, rather, an exercise in learning to pay attention to what is happening within you. Throughout history, many people have described experiences that could be considered internal revelations, a kind of understanding or knowledge that seems to originate from a higher level. Perhaps you recall moments when, for no apparent reason, an idea or an answer appeared in your mind as if something deeper were at work. That is no coincidence. In such instances, the divine uses your mind as a medium to convey what you need to know. While this concept may seem abstract, it has very concrete applications. What happens within you is not always merely the product of your everyday thoughts or experiences. Often, there is something more at play, something originating from a spiritual source. The mind, in its purest essence, acts as a receiver for these signals. This higher energy uses your thoughts, feelings, and perceptions to communicate directly, though we often fail to perceive it because we are too absorbed in daily distractions. So, how can you begin to recognize this form of communication? First, you must accept that it is possible. Many times, the idea that the divine can speak through the mind is met with doubt or the belief that only external events hold validity. However, if you allow yourself to be open to the possibility that your mind could be that link of communication, you will start to observe what happens within you more closely. An initial step to identify this connection is to distinguish between thoughts that arise from the human mind, marked by fears, insecurities, and worries, and those that seem to come from a deeper level. When a thought carries a spiritual message, it is often accompanied by a sense of calm or certainty, far from the anxiety or confusion generated by ideas dominated by ego or fear. It's true that at first, recognizing this higher voice may be challenging. We are so accustomed to the constant noise of our minds, to being swept up in daily concerns, that we often fail to notice when the divine is truly speaking to us. However, with practice and willingness, it is possible to learn to listen beyond the noise. A profound way to connect with the transcendent is through meditation or moments of deliberate stillness. During these periods, by calming our minds and setting aside daily concerns, we create a space where something higher can emerge. It's not about forcing a spiritual conversation, but about creating an environment in which the divine can manifest through your own thoughts and emotions. In the silence, you begin to notice how certain ideas or feelings arise spontaneously without consciously seeking them. As you develop a greater sensitivity to this inner connection, you may also identify recurring patterns or messages in your life. Perhaps there is something you've overlooked, yet it persists in your thoughts as a constant reminder. This type of recurrence is not random. It is a sign that a higher energy is trying to communicate with you, guiding you toward a specific purpose. Divine communication does not always come as clear thoughts or extraordinary revelations. Sometimes, the signs manifest as subtle intuitions or sensations that seem to point in a particular direction or choice. These hunches, often experienced as mental or physical impressions, are ways in which the transcendent manifests in our daily routines. The key is learning to trust them, recognizing that you don't always need a logical justification to understand that something is true. The mind, far from being an isolated instrument, is intrinsically linked to your spirituality. Everything is interconnected. When you begin to see your mind as a conduit capable of receiving and transmitting higher messages, you stop limiting your perception to purely rational interpretations. Gradually, you understand that there is a deeper dimension to every thought and emotion, and most importantly, you recognize that the divine is not as distant as you might imagine. It is present in every thought, intuition, and understanding that arises within you. This understanding transforms the way you approach challenges. Instead of seeking answers externally, you begin to trust that the solutions already reside within you. Instead of waiting for external signs, you realize that those signs exist within your own consciousness. This connection offers you a new perspective on life, grounded in a renewed trust in your ability to receive guidance in any circumstance. Developing this connection takes time, practice, and dedication. While the divine is always present, listening more clearly requires creating the right conditions in our minds and hearts. One of the greatest obstacles to connecting with this inner voice is mental noise. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, we are exposed to constant stimuli, responsibilities, and thoughts that make it difficult to listen attentively. However, with training, it is possible to reduce this noise and tune into a higher frequency. The first step in cultivating this skill is learning to find tranquility. Amid the daily whirlwind, it is crucial to set aside moments to pause and simply be calm. This silence does not merely imply the absence of words, but also creating a space where you stop chasing frantic thoughts and worries. Inner stillness is the fertile ground where divine connection can flourish. One of the most effective tools for generating this inner silence is meditation. It is not a complex or inaccessible practice, but a moment of quiet where you simply allow yourself to be present. At first, you might encounter resistance or find your mind filled with scattered thoughts. This is completely natural and part of the process. The mind, by nature, tends to remain constantly active. However, with practice and consistency, you will begin to notice how those incessant thoughts diminish, making room for moments of clarity. Meditation, in its purest essence, is not merely a relaxation method, but a powerful tool that helps you connect with that dimension of your mind where the divine expresses itself. By reducing external noise, you allow intuitions and spiritual messages to emerge. It is not necessary to dedicate long hours to this practice. Even a few moments of daily stillness and mindfulness can have a significant impact on your ability to perceive this communication. Another way to open yourself to this spiritual connection is to reflect on your intentions and the deepest desires that dwell within you. Often, these longings are used as a means to guide you. The sincerest desires of your heart are not random. They represent signals, messages seeking to reveal something greater to you. But to fully grasp their meaning, you need to be in tune with yourself. Daily reflection becomes an essential tool here. At the end of each day, spending a few minutes analyzing your thoughts and emotions can provide clearer insight. Ask yourself, what have I discovered today? What ideas stood out clearly? What emotions dominated? This introspective exercise will help you identify recurring patterns or feelings as though something higher were trying to capture your attention. These recurrences are not random. They are signs that spiritual guidance is attempting to lead you toward greater clarity or an important decision. Cultivating this ability requires trust, the certainty that what you perceive has value, that the intuitions and thoughts that arise are not mere products of your conscious mind. Many people often question whether what they feel or think comes from something higher or if it is simply a product of their imagination. It is important to remember that the mind is the vehicle through which the divine can communicate. Distrusting your own mind is akin to doubting the channel created to receive these messages. Of course, this trust does not arise immediately. It develops over time and with practice. As you continue this process, you will gradually discover that certain thoughts come accompanied by a sense of tranquility, confidence, and clarity. These are signs of an active spiritual connection. This voice will not be loud or imposing. It will manifest as a gentle whisper inviting you to listen. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our reflections and analyses of Carl Jung's work. Join our community and begin your own unconscious journey towards self-knowledge and transformation. It will feel more like a soft whisper perceived deep in your mind, a certainty emanating from a higher level. Prayer, moreover, is a valuable tool to strengthen this connection. Often, we conceive of prayer as a monologue, a space where we express our words and desires. However, true prayer is an exchange. In it, you not only communicate with the divine, but also open your heart and mind to receive. In prayer, it's not just about speaking, but also about listening. You can ask questions and then allow yourself to be silent, observing what thoughts or emotions emerge. Those thoughts or sensations are manifestations of spiritual guidance communicating through your mind. It is important to remember that divine guidance does not always come in the form of clear or structured thoughts. At times, it manifests as internal impressions. You might not find an explicit answer, but you may experience a pull toward a specific direction, a sense of peace, or even discomfort regarding a decision you are considering. These perceptions are ways in which the divine uses your mind and body as channels to transmit its will. As you cultivate this openness, you will notice that spiritual messages do not only arrive during meditation or prayer. Often, they manifest in the simplest moments of daily life, while walking, doing routine tasks, or conversing with someone. The key lies in maintaining a receptive and open attitude, recognizing that at any moment, an intuition, thought, or feeling may contain a higher message. Gratitude plays a crucial role in this process. When you identify these messages and recognize their origin, expressing gratitude strengthens that connection. Being thankful for these signs not only reinforces the spiritual relationship, but also calms your mind, preparing it to receive even more guidance in the future. Gratitude opens pathways and sharpens your ability to listen more clearly. Hearing the divine voice through your mind is just the beginning. The true challenge lies in correctly interpreting these messages and applying them to your daily life. Often, these messages are not direct or presented in an obvious format. Instead of literal words or clear instructions, they often appear as intuitions, emotions, or subtle impulses that require patience and attention to understand. To decipher these messages, it is essential to develop discernment. This skill does not emerge immediately, but strengthens with consistent practice. As you become more attuned to the ideas and perceptions arising within you, you will also learn to distinguish between what comes from a spiritual source and what is merely the habitual noise of your mind. A key aspect of this process is paying attention to the coherence and serenity that accompany a spiritual message. Divine guidance often brings a sense of peace and alignment, a sign that you are connected to something deeper. When an idea or thought originates from the divine, It is often accompanied by a feeling of calm and clarity. It doesn't come laden with anxiety or confusion, but with a quiet certainty that directs you toward the right path. In contrast, if your thoughts generate constant fear or doubt, they are likely part of mental noise rather than spiritual guidance. A valuable indicator of divine messages is the repetition of certain themes. Often, when something important is being communicated to you, you will notice certain ideas or messages resurfacing at different moments throughout the day, even during mundane activities. This recurring appearance of the same message is no coincidence. It is a sign that the thought is significant and deserves your attention. As you become more receptive to these patterns, it will be easier to identify when the divine is guiding you in a specific direction. It is helpful to remember that not all spiritual messages require immediate action. Sometimes, what you receive is an intuition or a thought that needs time to mature within you. Rather than feeling pressured to act impulsively, you can allow yourself to reflect and meditate on what you have received. In many cases, clarity emerges gradually as you integrate the message into the context of your life. Trusting this process is crucial, avoiding the rush to act before you feel the inner certainty that confirms the validity of the message. However, trusting does not always mean acting immediately. Trust involves allowing the messages to continue guiding you without trying to control every aspect of the process. Even if a message doesn't seem entirely clear at first, its meaning may reveal itself over time. Part of discernment is distinguishing between a message that requires immediate action and one that needs more reflection. In addition to intuitions, the divine can also communicate through synchronicities. These are meaningful coincidences that occur in your life and seem designed to capture your attention. For example, you might be reflecting on a decision, and suddenly someone mentions something that directly addresses your concerns, or perhaps you repeatedly encounter a symbol or a situation that resonates with what you've been thinking about. These coincidences are not mere accidents. They are ways in which the universe affirms what you already sense in your mind. Synchronicities act as gentle reminders that you are on the right path and that the divine is guiding you through the events of your daily life. Another fundamental aspect of interpreting spiritual messages is maintaining an attitude of openness. At times, the messages you receive may not be what you expected or may even challenge your beliefs or desires. Instead of resisting them, it is essential to keep a heart willing to listen and accept what is being communicated, even if it doesn't align with your expectations. Divine wisdom often goes beyond what we can comprehend in the moment. A message that initially seems confusing or challenging may, over time, reveal itself to be a true blessing. To integrate these messages into your daily life, it's important to have clarity in your intentions. Ask yourself, how can I use this message to improve my decisions or live more consistently with my purpose? Divine messages don't always arrive in dramatic ways. Often, the actions they inspire are simple, adjusting an attitude, changing how you relate to others, or shifting your perspective on a situation. The divine often works through small details, and learning to apply these messages in everyday aspects of life can lead to significant transformations. It's important to understand that the way these messages manifest and impact your life isn't always direct. Sometimes a message received today might not have an immediate effect, but its relevance will become clear later in unexpected circumstances. Divine guidance tends to align precisely with the events of your life. Even when you don't see immediate results, you can trust that you are being led toward a path more aligned with your purpose. Applying divine messages also involves acting with faith. When you receive clear guidance, even if you don't have all the details, you can move forward with confidence, knowing that you are being led by something greater. At times, the required actions may seem small or insignificant in the moment, but it is these small choices that bring about significant changes. Every step taken in faith strengthens your connection with the divine and brings you closer to a life aligned with that higher guidance. Another essential aspect of applying these messages is gratitude. Acknowledging and giving thanks each time you perceive a message or sign strengthens your bond with the divine. Gratitude not only deepens this connection, but also opens your mind and heart to receive more guidance. This state of gratitude creates a continuous cycle of communication, clarity, and receptivity, reinforcing the relationship between your mind and that higher energy. It's important to remember that applying divine messages is a learning process. You don't need to do it perfectly from the beginning. There will be times when you interpret a message one way, only to later realize that it held a deeper or different meaning. This process of learning allows you to grow and refine your ability to discern, listen, and put into practice what you receive. As you walk this path, you begin to understand that the divine communicates with you through your mind, and that each of these spiritual whispers is an invitation to live more in harmony with your purpose. But how can you keep this connection alive and constant? How can you strengthen it so that it serves as a guide even in the most challenging moments or when doubts try to take hold? The first step is to recognize that strengthening this connection does not mean achieving a state of spiritual perfection. Rather, it is about cultivating a continuous and sincere relationship with the divine, allowing yourself to grow and learn along the way. It is about establishing a consistent commitment, tuning into that inner voice, and remaining open to the messages the divine transmits to you in every experience. This commitment requires ongoing practices of introspection, gratitude, and receptivity. One of the fundamental pillars for strengthening this connection is the conscious practice of silence. In an environment dominated by haste, noise, and distractions, finding moments of stillness becomes a profound act of spiritual communion. Silence does not simply mean the absence of external sounds, but also the creation of an inner space of calm where you can more clearly perceive the voice of the divine. The mind needs pauses, not only to process daily experiences, but also to capture the signals that emerge during moments of stillness. By practicing this silence, you will notice a significant difference between thoughts born from a conditioned mind and those that seem to arise from a deeper place. That deeper source is the connection with the divine, which finds in silence the necessary space to reveal itself more clearly. For this reason, developing the ability to regularly remain calm is essential for strengthening that relationship. In addition to silence, it is vital to maintain a receptive and open attitude. Often, spiritual messages do not come in the form we anticipate. The divine may communicate through unexpected circumstances, unknown people, or even challenges that test our resilience. With an open mind, it becomes easier to perceive the presence of the divine in everything around us. While it may be difficult to maintain this perspective during moments of uncertainty or difficulty, it is precisely in these situations that openness becomes most crucial. Even in the midst of chaos, the divine voice remains present. We only need to remember that it can manifest in ways we had not foreseen. Another key aspect of strengthening this connection is living in alignment with the messages you receive. These messages are not meant solely for reflection. They are also guides to be incorporated into your daily actions. Every intuition, every sense of peace or clarity you experience, is an invitation to align your decisions and behaviors with that higher will. Sometimes, this may mean taking unexpected paths or making decisions that challenge what you had planned or what others expect of you. Following this inner guidance requires courage. It means trusting that voice even when its meaning is not immediately clear or when the outcomes are not fully visible. However, as you act from this trust and follow that direction, the connection strengthens, and the path the divine has laid out for you becomes clearer. Living in harmony with this voice also involves learning to let go of control. Often, we want to have all the answers before we act. We want to be sure of what will happen before taking a step. But letting go of this need for absolute certainty is part of the process. Trusting that spiritual guidance will lead you to where you need to be, even without fully understanding the bigger picture, is a manifestation of faith and surrender to something greater. The divine does not always reveal everything immediately. Often, what we receive is only a part of the message, a small intuition, a sense of peace, or an initial direction to follow. By taking that initial light and moving forward with faith, trusting that full understanding will come in due time, you demonstrate your willingness to walk with confidence, which strengthens your bond with the sacred. To keep this connection alive, it's valuable to surround yourself with elements that constantly remind you of the divine. This could include creating an environment that fosters your spirituality, such as a dedicated space in your home for meditation or reflection. It might also mean surrounding yourself with people who share similar spiritual values or turning to readings that inspire you and remind you of the constant presence of the divine in your life. These small acts create an environment that reinforces your focus and helps keep your mind receptive to inner guidance. Gratitude is another fundamental pillar for strengthening this connection. Giving thanks for the messages and signs you receive not only creates space for them to arrive with greater clarity, but also fosters an attitude of openness and trust. Through gratitude, you acknowledge that you are not alone, that a higher force accompanies you at every step, even when things are not entirely clear. Gratitude connects you to the certainty that you are always being guided, even if at times you cannot perceive it clearly. It's important to remember that this process is ongoing. It's not about reaching a definitive state of connection and staying there forever. The relationship with the divine, through the mind, strengthens over time with practice and a constant desire to listen. There will be days when you feel that connection deeply, and others when it seems distant. This is completely natural as life has its cycles and your spiritual bond is no exception. What's essential is not to lose sight of the commitment to keep moving forward, to keep listening, and to trust that even in the darkest moments, the divine remains present, speaking to you in ways you may not yet understand. As you cultivate this relationship, you will notice how your life begins to transform in subtle yet significant ways. You may not always encounter major revelations or drastic changes, but you will experience a growing sense of peace, clarity, and purpose. Even in moments of uncertainty, you will discover that you can trust in the ever-present spiritual guidance, waiting to be heard. Living in harmony with that inner voice is a constant reminder that you are never truly alone on your journey. Every thought, every intuition, every small whisper in your mind is an invitation to deepen your relationship with the divine and to fully trust in the purpose it has for you. This is just part of the journey. Your exploration of the unconscious continues. Click on the next video to keep uncovering the teachings and secrets Carl Jung left for humanity. See you in the next episode on Unconscious Journey.